Hey, welcome to Pilates with Scott. In this routine, we're looking at hip mobility, which is a great way to ease off tightness in those stiff dancing hips. Starting with the feet nice and wide, feet turn out 5-2-5 pass, pelvis and a spine in a neutral position with the arms resting by the sides. Start by squatting down, use the hands to open knees, press through the feet to elevate back up. So make sure your knees are tracking the same direction your toes, and watch the toes don't lift. So weight on the heels, but allow your knees to come forwards at the same time. So literally trying to sink on the spot, drive through the feet to elevate back up. Really allowing the hands to help open knees, drive through the feet to lift back up. Next time we sink, we tip forwards, gather the floor, curl through your spine, arms reach to the ceiling. Slide down with open knees, keep the knees open as you tip forwards, draw the belly in to help articulate the back to stand position. So nice way to try and limber the spine, nice way to open more into the hips. Feel the feet grounded, bow forwards, draw the belly in to help you roll back up to the start position. Trying to relax your shoulders throughout the movement. Next time, open arms. We bend the left leg, reach over to your left side, push into left leg to come back up. Same sides, we bend the left leg, circle like you're holding a ball in your hands, push into leg to open, then bend the left leg, reaching up and over with the arm, come back up and over. Try it again, reaching across first, push into left leg to lift, then circle. Turn the waist like holding a ball in your hands. Push into left leg to lift. Feel grounded in the right leg here as we stretch the arm up and over. Start position. Round 3. And again, rotate the waist like you're holding a ball. Nice rotation for the waist. And again, as you reach across, left arm reaching, right arm up and over. Anchor the feet. Sink and scoop. Curl up. Think clasp pencil and butt. So widen knees. Keep knees open as you bow forwards. Roll through your spine. Just a nice release for the back. Watching we don't collapse to the insides of the feet. Let's try the right side. So we reach across, push into right leg to lift, circle the waist like you're holding a ball between the hands, push into right leg to open chest, and again reaching up and over with the left arm, push into right leg, repeat the move. So reach across, right arm lengthens, come back up, circle, turn the waist, holding ball between hands. Push into right leg to lift back up, and again reach and lengthen. Really anchor into your long left leg there as you take the arm up and over. Last round, again as we bend we circle, trying to stay lifted if you can. Circle to open, and again up and over. Push into leg, breathing out, start position. Relax the arms, bring the feet in. Hands are on the hips, pelvis neutral, feet are hip width apart. Pick up the right heel, drop the hip. Start by turning the in, turn the out. Nice limbering exercise for the hip joint. Fix the hip, fasten the belly. This is the easier option. If your balance is not great, stick here. Otherwise, if you can, pick up the foot, keep the hip down. Same movement, knee turning in, knee turning out. No set breathing for this, just breathing naturally. Watching the belly isn't pushing out as we open knee out. Trying to keep the hip steady for this move. On the next round, move the hip to move the leg. It's like wiping the inside of the shoe followed by the outside of the shoe on the standing leg. Foot to floor to keep your balance, or if you can we stay lifted without touching down. So you want to anchor your left leg to the floor and move the right leg from side to side. It's a nice limbering exercise for the hip joint, but also a great one for the ankles. Add the arms if you can. So wherever your leg is, take the arms other direction. So nice rotation for the waist as we paddle past the hips. Again, wipe the inside, outside of the shoe on the shin. Same thing other side. Start with the basic move to begin with. Fix hip, fasten belly, and just see what the hip is willing to give. If your balance is not great, use a wall, use a chair if you need to. If it's okay, pick up the leg, drop the hip, trying to keep the pelvis level, and just see how much range of movement you've got as you internally rotate, externally rotate the leg. Now, depending on your balance, if you can, we move the hip to move the leg. Knee turns in, knee turns out, or focus on wiping the inside of the shoe, outside of the shoe on the shin. Trying to be grounded with the right foot, so nice ankle mobility this, along with hip mobility. If you can manage, see if you can stay lifted with the leg, depending on your balance. Option to hold onto a wall or a chair if you need to while you execute this move, or stick to the previous move. If you're able to, use the arms to try and counterbalance. So take your time, trying to get the turn from the waist as you paddle the hands past the hips, trying to maintain the lift and the balance throughout. From here, Rolling down, curl towards the floor, soft knees, get the stretch in the back of legs and your lower back. Then come onto your tiptoes, drop down to the knees. Now this next one is a really great one for opening into the hips. Right leg steps out to the side, 90 degrees. Hold the right knee open, draw your left hip back, slight tuck under the tail to pull your belly in. If you can, travel across to the right side without lifting the right heel off the floor. Come back to the start. A couple of things here. Keep straight sides, so watch you're not pushing your side out. Trousers tight, keep your belly fastened. And also think clasp pencil and butt. So it's like you're clasping a pencil between your butt cheeks. Try and hold the pelvis in a neutral position. It can be quite a taxing move, this one, for the hips, especially if you're pretty tight. So even holding this position could be a challenge in itself. Let's try the same thing with the opposite leg. So make sure your big toe is in line with the knee of the right leg. Draw the hip back, but hold the knee in place. Travel across without lifting your left heel off the floor. Come back up to start position. Slight tuck under the tail. Watch the pelvis isn't tilting forwards. So you're trying to maintain a neutral position in your spine. Think trousers a little too tight. Keep the length in the sides. Watch the ribs aren't flaring. I'm using that left hand to hold the knee in place so your knees go in the same direction as the toes so it doesn't collapse in. And watch the right hip doesn't collapse forwards. Again, do what you can. Coming down to the floor, scorpion kick. So if we ground the hip to the floor, right leg in front, grab the shin to elevate tall. Right arm bends forward, left arm out to the side. Breathe in to lift. As you breathe out, arms circle, leg circles behind with the foot off the floor. Come back to the start. Foot to floor, hip to floor, tall back. Nice rotation for the hip joint this. So as we breathe out, circle leg behind with the foot elevated, circle around, come back to the start position. If you're struggling, hands to floor is the option here to give you a little bit more support. So if you can't manage to lift the leg behind, take the hands to the floor to get the leg to lift. Trying to relax your shoulders throughout, quite a tricky move. So again, using the hands where you need to. Now to stretch, taking that right leg over and pressing down. Easy option, extend the left arm to get a little bit more stretch. If you can manage, steer the hip to the floor, be upright. And if you can manage more, tip forwards to intensify the stretch. Now for some, this could be an agonizing position. Option to take that right foot forwards onto the floor to make it easier for the hips and the knees. Make sure the right foot is flexed and make sure we're not sitting on the bottom left foot. Holding the stretch for about 20 to 30 seconds, trying the same move, scorpion kick, on the other side. Hands to shin to elevate the back, left arm bends, right arm out, circle behind on the breath out, inhale, return to the start position, foot to floor. Try it again, we circle, foot lifted, circle, foot planted, hip planted. Option hands to floor here if you're struggling to get the back leg to lift. Now if this move isn't agreeing with your knees, your hip, your back, then avoid this move. It is a nice one to try and limber up the hip joint, but it depends on the state of your hips, how tight they are, any injuries, and so forth. Stretching, left leg up and over. Notice I've got the left hip off the floor and pushing down with a bent right arm. Extending that right arm helps to sink the hip lower. If you can manage, steer both hips to floor and lift the back upright. Again, making sure you're not sitting on the bottom foot. If you're able to, hinging forwards. Feel as you're lifting the belly over the thigh. Feel seated, feel tall through your spine, and remember, flexing that top foot to keep the ankles strong and supported. Great one for the piriformis, good one for the sciatic nerve, especially if you suffer from sciatic issues. For more information on Pilates, check out my website, pilateswithscott.com. Thank you.